Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting for Pasco City Council this evening of May 20th, 2019. We have agendas available on this corner desk over here, or more detailed council packets available through the city's website. We also televise our meetings live on Charter Cable Channel 191, as well as broadcast through Facebook Live. If you get a chance to speak with council this evening, if you come to the podium up here and share your name with us for our record keeping, we'd be very appreciative. And if you have any cell phones, I'd ask you to mute those so that the meeting isn't interrupted tonight. And before I call the meeting to order, I'll also want to wish our friends in Kennewick our thoughts and prayers for the loss of Mayor Steve Young last week, and so we're thinking about our friends in Kennewick this evening. With that, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alvarado.
Present.
Barajas.
Present.
Maloney.
Present.
Martinez.
Present.
Milne.
Present.
Serrano.
Here.
Watkins.
Here.
7 present, Mr. Mayor.
And if you join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Third item on the agenda is the consent agenda. We consider these items to be routine. We'll do them as a single roll call vote unless a member of council or a member of public wants something considered separately. Those items include the approval of minutes from the May 6th meeting, bills and communications, specifically to approve claims in the total amount of $2,929,423.65, as well as approving bad debt write-off for utility billing, ambulance, and other accounts in the amount of $284,616.13, with a portion of that, specifically $156,776.17, to be turned over for collection. Anything to be removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, Mr. Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Mr. Serrano. I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Watkins.
Yes.
Alvarado.
Yes.
Barajas.
Yes.
Maloney.
Yes.
Martinez.
Yes.
Milne.
Yes.
Serrano.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Which it is unanimous. We have a consent agenda, so we go on to item 4 on the agenda this evening. We have 2 proclamations this evening. First of which is going to be Older Americans Month proclamation, and I know we have 2 guests here, Ms. Cheryl Patton and Ms. Frances Beltran. If you want to come up here, I have a proclamation that I'd like to read, and I have a feeling you were involved in the drafting of this language. Good to see you both come here this evening. And I usually, depending on, paraphrase just a bit, but would also love to hear from you about this particular month here when we get done. So, proclamations, of course, in language with whereas is all in the beginning. And city includes, whereas the city includes a community of older Americans who enrich our community through diverse life experiences, and whereas the city is committed to strengthening our community by connecting with and supporting older adults, their families, and caregivers, as well as acknowledging their many valuable contributions to society. And whereas the city recognizes the importance of bringing together all generations and engaging in activities that promote physical, mental, and emotional well-being for the benefit of all, and whereas the city can enhance the lives of older Americans in our community by promoting home and community-based services that support independent living, involving older adults in community planning, events, and other activities, and providing opportunities for older adults to share their experiences. So I'm privileged as Matt Watkins as the mayor to declare the month to acknowledge older adults as influential, and so May 2019 as the Older Americans Month. And as I come present this to you, we're going to do a little clap and then ask if you have anything you'd like to share with us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Watkins, and members of the council. And I want to personally thank each of you for the time that you give to the city on the behalf of so many of us. So thank you so much for that. And I'm here to accept this in behalf of the ALTC Commission that my colleague Francis will tell you a little more about. On behalf of many senior citizens in Pasco, on the website, or I shouldn't say website, on Google, I noticed that there are about 6,000 senior citizens in Pasco, and I would expect that there would be more. But thank you so much.
Well, we're members of the advisory council, and we represent the southeast area of the state. And we like putting these all over during the month of May because people that need services, for example, older Americans that want to remain at home but need services, that's what it's all about, getting services to them. And we like putting this out because it has a phone number for Benton and Franklin County here, along with the other counties. But basically, it's getting word out
That's
and making
important part of it.
people aware that these services are available.
Yeah. And I'm sure if we can probably have a city place, we probably could be able to hang one of those. If you share that with the
Okay.
clerk, I would imagine she'd probably find a good home for it. I want to thank you for coming out this evening. I appreciate your good work.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
And we have a second one tonight, and that we do these a little bit different format sometimes. This one, we're going to do an introduction by Mr. Worley, and this is related to Public Works Week.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Tonight, we would like to start off this proclamation and the start of Public Works Week with a short video that was prepared by the Washington chapter of the American Public Works Association. And I'd like to ask that you pay close attention to this and see if you actually recognize anything in this video.
There it is.
Can we start over? Okay, now that the sound is working, let's try again.
Round 100. March.
Now, did you notice the credit at the end with thanks from the City of Pasco Public Works? Anybody recognize anything in there from the City of Pasco?
Water intake off of 180 underneath 182 bridge.
That is correct. That photo of all the water pipelines is from our Columbia Water Intake project that we did the grand opening earlier this year, late last year.
When there was snow that
Yeah.
might have been from the other part of the video.
Exactly. So we just wanted to be able to play that and show people. A lot of people don't know what the term public works means, and so we thought that was a pretty cool video. And then also for tonight, accepting the proclamation is one of our employees, Joe Robles, who has been with the City of Pasco for 22 years in our Public Works Department. Joe started out as a utility maintenance worker back in 1997 and immediately worked his way up to a heavy equipment operator. And then just recently, like last year, he became one of our construction inspectors, and so now goes out and makes sure all of our developer contractors are building our facilities, utilities, and roadways according to our needed requirements and specifications. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you for the proclamation.
Well, Mr. Robles, if you don't mind, would you come on up to the podium, and we're probably going to be telling you words you already know, but I like reading through some of these things to remind us the things. So Public Works Week would be May 20th to 26th, 2019, and whereas Public Works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and that support is an understanding of an informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works programs such as water, sewer, streets and highways, public buildings, solid waste collection. And whereas these relate to health, safety, and comfort of the community, and where you depend on these facilities and services, and the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, construction, and continued maintenance, is very important from Public Works employees. It's my privilege to declare this Public Works Week and ask everybody to remember when they drive it, when they turn it on, or when they flush it, or some of the other things. That's the Public Works Department. Did I get that about right?
That is correct.
And I'm going to bring this to you, and if you have any other thoughts, will we give you applause?
Okay.
22 years?
22.
22. You
Yes.
started in Public Works?
Yes.
And,
Planner operations, yes.
yeah, and enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Do you have anything to share with us?
All right, thank you.
Okay, or you can just take a run, too.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you on behalf of all the Public Works, maintenance, and engineering. Thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Worley, is that video on our website or somewhere that's accessible to the public?
It isn't yet. We just received it this afternoon. So thanks to John Funfar for being able to make that available to us right away. So, but we will. We'll get that on our website for sure.
And through section 4, we go to item 5 on the agenda, visitors other than agenda items. If anybody's here this evening to talk about items not further along the agenda, this will be your chance. Ms. Robinson.
Oh, thank you. All right. I actually do have a very important agenda, visitor item to alert the council to. As you all know, our Franklin County Commission usually meets on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. This has, in recent years, become a point of contention, especially in the last election that we had for one of those seats. It is a bipartisan issue in terms of accessibility, that our commission be easier for the general public to reach, just as the city council is. In an effort to correct this, our county commission has decided to try holding a night meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. in the courthouse. This represents a powerful statement to the public that the commission is trying to meet us halfway. It is a wonderful idea, and I bring this to your attention in hope that all of you, as one of the governing bodies that lives in this county, will make a point of attending, but also because I know these meetings are televised, and it is very important that we as the public be engaged and show our respect for the democratic process by meeting our officials halfway when they step outside the box to try to help us. Thank you.
Thank you for reminding us of that meeting. Tomorrow, and again, what time was it again? 7, what time in the evening?
You know, you would think I would be smart enough to say that while I'm up here. It's at 7 p.m. And once again, it's at the courthouse. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else this evening? Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, I was here a while back. My name's Tyson Fellman. I was here originally because I purchased a house that the city said needed a lot of work done, and they actually wanted it torn down. The building official did, and I looked at the house and thought, this can be fixed at a reasonable cost. And since then, it seemed like the building official, Troy Hendren, was willing to work with me. And I've done a great deal of work to the house. Today, I just had a licensed architect come and inspect the house for minimal habitability standards, which it passed, and I brought that to the city. And according to city code, that's all that should be required to get a rental license. But I was still denied that rental license today, and because Troy Hendren wanted 10 days to review the inspection report, which, from my understanding, there's no reason or purpose for that. I've also had an engineer, structural engineer, approve the flooring system to make sure that it's structurally safe. I have redone the electrical, so the electrical is safe, and had that inspected by L&I. To me, I feel like I'm getting run around by the city, and they're just trying to find any excuse possible to not allow me to rent this house. And I think it's abuse of power, and I am really close to getting an attorney.
Okay. You continue to work with staff on this? Have you talked with the city manager about this?
I did try to talk to the city manager today, but he was not in the office today.
And he isn't in. In fact, we have Chief Geary is actually acting this evening. So
Okay.
bear with us just a bit. So today, because we do have some senior staff at a trade conference, Mr. Gear, would you make sure that this gentleman, that somebody is able to talk with him?
I'll meet with Troy tomorrow and find out what's going on. Does he have your contact information?
Yes, he does.
Okay, I'll talk to Troy tomorrow and see what the answer is. I don't know that I can change the process, but I need to get both sides of the story, if you understand that, and I'll do that tomorrow for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else this evening? Not seeing any other hands raised, so we're going to go on and we go to section 6 on the agenda, reports from committees or officers. Anybody attend a meeting or event they wish to share with council? Mr. Serrano.
Thank you. Just came from, well, technically from dinner, but before that, the Hanford Area Economic Investment Fund Committee, where we talked about loaning money to people, businesses in particular, that are wanting to spend money that the state collects off Hanford waste fees. So if you have a business and you need money, that might be a place to start if you're struggling with some of the commercial lenders. We are always happy to entertain ideas, so if you or someone you know is interested, don't hesitate to reach out. There's an application process. It's pretty straightforward, and then you have to talk to people like me, and then eventually you get money, if you're qualified and it's the right thing.
And if I remember right, one of the qualification principles is the things that diversify our community from the Hanford things of yore.
Right, that's the ultimate goal, is to move away from being a kind of a Hanford-centric, if you will, Tri-Cities. So we've had places like Fuse come to us, and some of the other kind of incubator ideas that are trying to pop off the map that are, again, like you said, away from the Hanford business core model. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Barajas and then Mr. Alvarado.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to share that last week I was over at the Communities and Schools of Benton Franklin breakfast luncheon. Breakfast fundraiser. Did you know that 1 out of every 5 children in Benton and Franklin County live in poverty? Did you know that? There's Communities and Schools is a organization, not-for-profit organization that helps kids stay in school. Kids that are do not have access to food, kids that are in transitional housing or living in cars. They had a panel of 5 kids at this breakfast that were talking about their experiences. One little girl in particular, who already graduated from high school, lived in her car. And in spite of everything against her, graduated with high honors, got a scholarship, went to Washington, D.C., was at the presidential inauguration. Someone who had everything against her is now thriving because of Communities and Schools. Again, it's an organization helping to keep kids in school, and not only that, but thrive. I was very proud to be part of that, and so I invite you all to reach out to Communities and Schools, and they're growing. When I met them 4 years ago, there was 11 sites. They are now expanded to 26 sites in Benton and Franklin County. So I invite you to research them and help them out if you can. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Barajas. I'm going to go Mr. Milne and then Mr. Alvarado.
Okay. On this last Thursday, I attended the DPDA meeting, and like you say, it's a lot of things in the works. I will say that a lot of anticipation for our new director, and then also the whole rebuild at the market. I know there's a lot of positive things happening in Pasco, so just want to report that.
Thank you. Mr. Alvarado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to report out the last Benton Franklin Council of Governments that happened last Friday. We had our board meeting. And 3 things that I'd like to share with the body here is they updated their website, not the whole website, but a new part of their website which allows for GIS, the public to be able to access their GIS data. So if you wanting to know, like, you're nerdy enough to want to go and check out their heat maps and things of that nature, you can go in there. And so it's really great that they made it so accessible, and it's really easy to use. And I was able to pull it up with my phone, which is really really cool because a lot of times it take a lot of bandwidth to do things like that. So it's really, really great, I think, service. And then also Stephanie Siemens, who was the interim director, is now the official director. So that is just some great news. And then as well, one of the comments, announcements during the announcement section is that I know last week we were talking about the rideable scooters and bicycles that are like Lime and things like that. Well, they're having a meeting or a presentation at Bechtel Boardroom on May 22nd at 3:30. So if anyone has some interest in that, I think I would encourage someone from the city as well to come out and check out that meeting. So it sounds like there's interest of them coming to our region. So I think that'd be important.
And it sounds like a good thing. Ben Franklin Council of Governments has got a transportation focus that's more regional than just any individual one city or one county. So they're kind of our arm for those regional transportation questions.
Yeah, and they're going through major changes as far as the leadership and just the way that they're doing business. So really, the approach that they're really wanting to take is making sure that they're being as regionally conscious as possible and bringing folks together that perhaps in the past have been in silos. And so I'm excited about the future.
Any other reports? Hearing none, we're going to go on to section, well, we don't have to go to section 7 since we don't have anything under hearings. We go to section 8, ordinances and resolutions not relating to hearings. Item we talked about last week, first item, Kitty Utility Improvements Ordinance, Lake Carmen Agreement. Any updates, Mr. Worley?
No updates from last week.
Okay. Questions, council or a motion? Mr. Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt ordinance number 4438, requiring construction of utility facilities as a prerequisite to development of property.
There's been a motion, seconded by Ms. Barajas. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of ordinance 4438 say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Next item related to some updates to parking at Peanuts Plaza. Mr. Ratkai, any updates since last week since we talked about this?
No updates since last week, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Questions or motion? Mr. Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt ordinance number 4439, amending section 10.65.070 of the Pasco Municipal Code, prohibiting overnight parking in specially identified lots, and further authorize publication by summary only.
It's been moved and seconded by Mr. Martinez. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And with that, we can see where this is going pretty quickly here. 9 unfinished business, nothing, as well as new business. Miscellaneous discussion from staff, Mr. Gear?
No, we had nothing tonight.
Okay. How about council? Anything else we need to cover tonight? Or I get one thing I would note too. I think we received a picture from Dave at a trade show with a Pasco booth, and I'm trying to remember the name of that trade show again. It's Mr. Ratkai, do you remember?
Yeah, the name of the trade show is the International Council of Shopping Centers Recon, or Retail Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And this is one, if I remember right, this is our second, third, or maybe fourth year, and we've, as we're developing the Broadmoor area in particular, that is marketable to that conference, and so we hopefully will get some movement and some commercial activity, I would imagine.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Martinez.
Mr. Mayor, you had mentioned it before, but I just wanted to say that our condolences go with Mr. Steve Young and everybody in Kennewick. In the years that I've been here, Mr. Young gave his heart and soul to what he did. I didn't know him so much on a personal level, but I know that as a community servant, he did more than I could ever even dream of doing for his city. My condolences go to his family and to everybody who knew him. It's a great loss, I think, for the city of Kennewick, and I just hope that there could be more people like him that would do for their communities what he had done. And as I read some of the emails coming around, as you go through Kennewick, he had his fingerprint on many of the things that you guys see that improve the quality of life for people in Kennewick. And and my heart goes out because I seen him somewhat deteriorate physically as time went on, and again, I just want to say our prayers are with the family, and thank you.
Thank you, Saul. Any other miscellaneous discussion? Any need for an executive session? With that, we are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.